Fuck, it's a good production. It's a good production, this podcast.
Mate.
You run a real tight ship. Fucking show up.
Did you ever get those ads in New Zealand, Geeks to You?
No.
We've got these ads in Australia called Geeks to You, and they're like, Geeks to You saved my life. Yeah. And the geek goes, no, I didn't. He just needed to clear his hard drive.
What did we have? George, we had something like that, eh?
Yeah, we had Phone a Geek or
Phone a Geek, yeah.
Frozen again.
There's some real energy coming to the show.
Oh. I need to spark up. I need a fucking Red Bull vodka or something. Should I do that? Should I pour Red Bull straight? I'll do it. Haven't had one of these in 10 years, I reckon.
Fuck. It's just
we had a whole set. Hey George, how long since you've had a Red Bull and vodka?
Fuck, it's been a while. Have you been into those?
I've just cracked one. Billy was going, geez, we need to fire up. I go, all right, I'm doing it.
Yuck.
Merry Christmas.
Got an oyster bay. Yeah, Merry Christmas. What are you into, Jules? Eggnog by the state of your jersey. Fucking fond. Do you know what?
It's not even Fonterra, it's tap water.
You probably. We bought Buell's because we were like concerned at the amount of like plastic. Well, that too. But we were quite concerned about the amount of plastic. He would just always get punished like 4 bottles of soda water a day. And I was like, mate. So we ended up for his birthday or some shit. We bought him a soda, a housewarming. Yeah.
Soda Stream.
Yeah, Soda Stream, and he used the canister up, and that was about 2 years ago, and he hasn't been able to. He hasn't bothered to get a refill. Nah, so he just goes and buys Fonterra bloody soda water and farts in
it. I don't know where to get the gas canisters.
What do you mean? They're everywhere. They go to any it might be different in Girona, but they're everywhere here.
No, they're in Hypercore. I went the other day, and it was real. We should start the podcast soon, but
yeah.
But I'll quickly tell you where they are.
We're torching good yarns here.
Yeah, I know. You can either listen. We'll just start. We'll just say we started, and we'll chuck it. We'll chuck it and go into it. So you go into Hypercore, right? And I was like, I need the gas can because I had like 5. I filled them all up at once because it's a bit far away from the house. And then they like said, you got to go ask her. And then I went to her, and she got to ask her. And then sent me all around on this wild goose chase and get to this lady, and she's like, I know what you're talking about. I know where they are. Come with me. And we like walked into this real weird section I've never been, like on the top floor, like up all the stairs. And she takes me over to this random display bed, like a model bed that you can try out. And she whips the mattress up, and she's just been like storing all the gas cans under there. So she's just hoarding them. They're not advertised or nothing. So only one lady in the shop knows where they are. And they're hidden under a mattress on the top floor of Hypercore. So if you ever need a gas can in
Girona, blood diamonds.
I'd rather kill a few dolphins than go through that process.
You'd think I'd try and buy meth. I'm trying a gas can.
Start the intro, boys.
Thank you for being here. You're here on a special day, I'll tell you that.
Why is it not working, Jonesy?
They don't want to be locked into a house or an apartment.
Got to follow the social distancing rule.
And some nuff dicks were getting tested, then going in and doing a shop.
COVID. I had it.
Detective George Bennett.
Yeah, he's a bellend. Absolutely.
George, don't say hello to you. Like,
I don't know. I'm actually genuinely embarrassed.
I broke my back. A vertebrae or a portion?
Spinal.
Mate, Josie, just do that thing where you just put Bill's talking and let me see I can hear him first.
Boys, Christmas special. The Social Distance Podcast Christmas special.
And we are up and about.
We're up and about in the fucking sacrifices I make for this show. It's still dark here. I had to get up at 7:30 to do this fucking show. And another thing we said we're going to do is not swear.
Yeah, I was going to say you're coming hot.
Two already.
Coming real hot. I'm going to try and last as long as I can without dropping the F-bombs. For sure.
I'll give you 5 minutes.
All right. Well, lay down the challenge because the language, particularly from myself, has been a disgrace. I've been subbing F-bombs for and that again. I've got to stop that.
Has your mum been watching the show again?
No, she doesn't watch this show, mate. She doesn't. She's not a fan of the social distance. It's
all I'm hearing.
How you going, George? You got tech problems?
I got big tech problems. That's the first thing I've heard.
So are you on the hotspot or what's the go?
Fuck me. All right, you talk amongst yourself. I'll come back to you. You talk amongst yourself, and I'll slot in somewhere around Legend of Valiant. All right, boys. Oh no, we're good. We're good. We got a good run. I think it's down. Hey,
George, how's it going? You're in quarantine with shit Wi-Fi. Update us.
Yeah, I'm in isolation. All right. I'll come back to you. Come back.
Come on, George. You're gonna hotspot it, or what are you doing?
Just use the Wi-Fi.
Just use the Wi-Fi. Trust the process. He's probably hotspotting to his phone in Girona. Okay. That's George Bennett. He needs to click that link again. How's your injury going, Bills? He'll be back. Don't worry. Oh, here he is. George is back. Hey, George. How are you? You on Wi-Fi?
Hey, boys. We're on the Wi-Fi.
Sounds way
I think there's too many managed isolation. People just smashing pornography on their computers or something. So there's not much signal left for.
Well, if you're a bloke and you're single and you've just been locked in a room for 2 weeks and all you've got is Wi-Fi and an iPad, I mean, geez, they're two dots that are pretty close together, aren't they?
Well, the other option you could do is like Caitlin was telling me about a girl that's coming, and she just gone to do you can do like these, and my sister's doing one as well, and they're doing these silent retreats, and you just go to a place and you don't speak for 8 days or whatever, and no phone, no books, nothing. But you pay quite big money for these things, and the only thing you get out of this camp is a gong. So someone rings a gong and you then know it's time to eat, or I don't know. But you basically just go somewhere and don't talk or don't do anything for 8 days. And people pay big for that. So I feel like this would be a good opportunity to do that. I was going to do that, but then I realized I had to do the podcast. So I had to break my vow of silence.
Mate, that sounds as bad as this meditating Barbie doll I found online the other day. So this is a Christmas special, and I was doing some Christmas shopping the other day for a 3-year-old. We've got a couple of 3-year-olds that we're having Christmas with. So I was like, oh, what do you buy a 3-year-old? I don't know. Googled, what do you buy a 3-year-old for Christmas? I came across this Barbie doll, and we should have queued it up. I'll show you. You can't really see it. Anyway, it's a Barbie doll, and it's called Barbie Breathe With Me Meditation Doll. And this is the blurb. This Barbie comes with extra articulation to do all those yoga poses. And if you press the button in her necklace, she'll guide kids through one of our 5 guided meditation exercises. She also comes with friends that embody different emotions so kids can practice identifying their feelings, ages 3+. What the?
I feel like that's something I could. No, I feel like that's something I could get. You can get me one of those for Christmas.
But what does the world come to? 3-year-olds are in a position where they need to identify their feelings. Mate, they're tired, happy, hungry, fucking sad. What else is there for a 3-year-old?
That's a joke.
Gender confused? I don't know.
One of the people coming to Christmas replied and said, yeah, it's probably one of those non-binary Barbie dolls as well, or whatever the fuck it's called. Gender neutral Barbie doll.
Could you imagine a 3-year-old doing yoga and meditating and that? I mean, that's bullshit.
Yeah, imagine your son coming in, Josie, and being like, Dad, you got time? Got chat? I'm struggling with a bit of anxiety at the moment.
Yeah.
He's 3. He's coming and he's going, Dad, can I have a biscuit?
Yeah. I want Paw Patrol. I want the Raphael stabby thing, and I want to unleash hell. Like, I don't want to be sitting around doing the splits with my bloody fingers crossed. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But the mums are, mate, they've targeted, obviously, the mums. You know, the mums are wanting to meditate. The kids are running amok. If I can tack in the Barbie, then maybe, you know, we could do it as a family thing. It's just a mum target there. Actually quite smart when I think about it. Good on you, Barbie, because you'll move some merch.
Mate, Barbie dolls when I grew up were all tits and ass. Now they're meditating.
Yeah, that's right.
Barbies were hot, eh?
Did you ever give him a haircut when you were? I was one of those shits of a kids. I used to give him the back when before Rihanna did the shave look. I created that on a number of Barbies.
They don't grow back, eh? It doesn't grow back on a Barbie.
No, it didn't go down too well either. I remember that. No, I think I flushed the head down the old shitter like 4 days later, just to make a statement. Anyway, that was my childhood.
All right.
Good time.
What are we talking about?
Well, you're in quarantine. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm in quarantine. I'm in not that I'm in managed isolation. Quarantine has a negative connotation that I was in some kind of breach situation and was exposed to it. But I've just flown to New Zealand. Last minute decision. Came to New Zealand and we're currently on day. I thought we were on day 5, but it turns out it's day 4 because here's the real stitch up: is when you arrive day 1, they call that day 0, so it doesn't sound as bad. So you got to do 14 days. So we're on day 4. It's all right, you know. Like I prepared for the worst, whereas Caitlin did the opposite. She prepared for the best and got the shock of her life when we arrived in this shitty small room, and got 2 bikes, and then they said, "You're allowed outside if you're lucky. You get up early, you go book. You know, you got to go book your time slot outside." And so she's been good. She gets up early, goes and books to the time slot, and we get 30 minutes outside. But yeah, you're not allowed to run. And here's the weird thing, right? So she's trying to do like a bit of running. Just, you know, she runs, and she tried to break into like a light jog. So it's this like punishing circle. It's like 40 meters, and you just walk around and around and around. And she tried to break into a jog, and I said, no, you can't run. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll take my skipping rope down and skip. And I'm like, no, you can't just skip. You can't skip. The rule is you're not allowed to do anything that makes you sweat. So, like, I mean,
why?
Oh, I don't know. Prince Andrew would probably go right in here. he'd have a hell of a time. He'd be cutting laps. But yes, you're not allowed to sweat. Except today, I was sweating up a storm. I went and did 30 minutes just sitting in the sun. And if anyone's been to New Zealand knows what that does to you. I was coming and dripping. So I don't know if that was a breach situation or what.
Why aren't you allowed to sweat?
COVID loves it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was clear that it wasn't passed through sweat. It's a respiratory disease. How can you get it through sweat?
I don't know. There's a lot of strange rules. I mean, it's do you know what it is? It's a lot of it is like they don't trust people to they don't trust anybody to have any sort of sense of interpretation of the rules. So they make a rule because there's no room for nuance or no room for like any kind of any give. So they just say, okay, these are the rules, blanket rules, whatever, and it's run by the military. Or each hotel has like a military, Air Force, and then Navy or whatever. And like the hotels, it's cool, you know, get good food, all that stuff. But like you have to laugh at like the army. You know, you've got like this buff army guy who's been waiting all his life to like go to Iraq or something, and he's dressed up in his camo, just dropping off fresh towels. and he's dropping off shit, and he's like, and then you know, some of them are real army, you know, like real like.
Went through all these boot camps.
Yeah. And we got talking to one guy today, and like because he pulled us up about meeting at the wrong place for the after time, and then we had a guy today, and I talked to him, and he was just a bit more normal. It's like, oh, I quite like this guy. He's a bit more normal. And then at the end of the session, he goes, oh, actually, there's been another spot opened up at 1800. And then I went, oh, you ruined it. You knew, you know, like it was near, you really like, oh my God. You could have told him 6 p.m., but he said 1800. Give him a salute.
Imagine if you said to him, you go, mate, why can't we run? And he's just like, you can't handle the truth.
Get to the chopper.
Get down. Don't run.
Well, there's this huge, where we walk around, there's this huge wall, you know, like it's really like you well above head height. And all I want to do is look over the wall, but I'm scared that if I like pull myself up to peek over, I'll get shot from behind like some kind of a skippy.
You just see this red dot.
Just yeah, the thing disappearing over the wall to go sneeze on people.
So speaking of sneezing, you've obviously passed your COVID tests, the day 3 COVID test.
No, I don't know. I had one yesterday, and so I haven't been shipped out to the positive facility yet. But here's a weird thing, right? You get a test on day 3 and a test on day 11, and I don't understand why you then can't leave until 3 days after your last test, because you don't get another test before you leave. So surely, like if your day 11 test is negative, why are you hanging out for 2 more days or 3 more days? But the only thing I can think of is maybe in New Zealand, tests take 3 days to come back. I don't know. That's my only guess. Otherwise, it just seems ridiculous. But yeah, the training setup's a bit rogue. I'm parked up in an erg, so we've got obviously no room in this room to train. So we've just got one room, a bed. You can sort of walk around the bed a little bit, and then a trainer. I got the bathroom, and you got the erg set up. You got the toilet, and then you're just doing efforts at the toilet level, just cramped in there. So it's you got to time things pretty well between you. There's got to be a certain amount of coordination between the household if we're going to do VO2 efforts while someone's taking a dump.
So you're doing VO2s while someone's taking a dump?
Well, no, you're trying to avoid that. Well, that's more of a problem if Caitlin jumps on the bike and I'm getting these. You know, it's like the rogue jet lag. You know what I mean? Like your jet lag timing goes out. You're not over jet lag until you wake up in the morning and take a shit. That's when you know I'm okay.
You end up touching cloth at all sorts of times a day, eh? With jet lag.
Oh, I know. 3 p.m. Like, what's that about?
Yeah.
Your bunghole doesn't know what's going on.
No.
It's constantly fighting with your head. But so when you decided to come at the last minute, what was that conversation about? Because last time we spoke to you, you're like, nah, that's it, we're done. And then bang, fuck Christmas. Yeah. Drop the F-bomb.
Oh, yeah. What is it? 20 minutes. No,
that's not bad.
What does that mean? You got a nick of Red Bull vodka?
Yeah, no, I'll just have a nip.
So yeah, George, you are in quarantine, or you're in managed isolation, or whatever they call it, for Christmas, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I don't get out until the 29th. So do you know what though? We just got a package from Caitlin's parents, and they sent us all these Christmas decorations and fairy lights. And now it's I've just been watching Elf. Actually, I was going to flick the podcast because it was pretty good. I'd never seen it before. It was on TV, and
great movie.
Yeah, I think we'll get into Christmas movies because I just saw the same.
I thought you were talking about Elf. I thought you were talking about ALF, like the TV show. Remember that? No, Elf. It was no problem. You see cats.
Yeah, and he used to wear undies, slide around his undies, no?
Yeah.
Take that old time and rock and roll.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It was huge. Anyway, carry on. So you're watching the Elf Will Ferrell movie?
Yeah, and he redoes the whole thing with Christmas decorations. Anyway, that's what Caitlin's done to our room. She's just gone full Elf on it, and we've got flashing fairy lights and tinsel, and it's quite festive in here.
It's actually a pretty good delivery from the old day.
But I was thinking about this whole isolation thing, and do you think that you could trust people to self-isolate at all? Like, do you think that you could? That you think? Because have you heard about the? It's kind of like that. What's it called? It's called the shopping cart. The shopping cart experiment, or the shopping cart theory, or the whatever it is. It's basically like. So the shopping cart, there's no emergency situation. You've got your shopping, right? There's no rule saying please return that you have to return your trolley, but there's no consequence of not returning your trolley. So it's like, are people good enough? It's the ultimate experiment of, are people good enough to do the right thing without an incentive.
No
and
way.
It's kind of like and that's what I was saying. Like, I think that the managed self-isolation with the ultimate test. You know, are people good enough to do the right thing without?
It depends on the people. If it's a person that's very sociable, I mean, it's difficult. But for someone like you that generally doesn't like talking to people at all, I mean, we trust you to bunker down for a month.
Yeah,
mate, I'm in my happy place. I might do this.
Yeah, yeah.
I might take a quick trip to like an island somewhere just offshore. Maybe pest around on a fishing boat or something, and then come back in.
Yeah, in 12 months when the vaccine's all gone through and people go, all right, well, COVID's not an issue, George will be like, can't be too careful. Going to do another 2 weeks.
What about an argument for, like, I guess, I mean, this is probably a human rights issue, but I mean, ultimately, a lot of basic human rights have been taken away from you for these 2 weeks anyway. For example, you can't sweat, you can't leave a room for more than 30 minutes a day. There's a lot of basic, I guess, arguably necessary human rights taken away from people at the moment due to this pandemic. But what about the bracelet, like the prison bracelet? So you home isolate, but you put a prison bracelet on, GPS tracker or whatever they're called, and they go, look, this bastard's left home. I mean, I guess it's too late at that point if you've got COVID, but
and right around the northern beaches, that's what's happening in Aussie, eh? It's coming up your way soon, Jonesy.
Well, no, we're shutting the borders. They used to all give us shit up in New South Wales, and now it's starting to spread, and I think it's in reverse now. We're like, no, we don't want people from New South coming up here. It's all this state versus state battle going on at the moment.
It's like state of origin.
Yeah,
this is the origin of COVID.
Oh yeah, it's rampant. But it's pretty shit because obviously leading up to Christmas, like they're shutting the borders, or they're gonna. And it's just totally screwed everyone's plans. And people are getting on TV now, and they're telling all their sort of sob stories about missing Christmas and that. But I mean, as we said many times, after 2020, just bloody write it off. They're
shutting it down here again. They're locking it. They're shutting the bars next week, GB.
Oh, what?
From the 21st of December till the 11th of January, the bars are closed. Bars and restaurants have to close at 3:30 in the Arvo, so they can open from
before 3:30 though. Surely,
no, you can't, because they're allowed to open from 7:30 a.m. till 9:30 a.m. Then they have to close, and then they're allowed to open from 1:30 till 3:30. So you've got a 2-hour window.
I reckon I could do enough damage in 2 hours to stumble home. I reckon 2 hours is all you need.
Hang on, so why are bars open from 7:30 to 9:30? I mean, what sort of routine is that? The old hair of the dog.
There's a lot of old Spanish dudes when you go training at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking beers outside of the little bars in their villages. So that's appealing to that audience. But no, it's crap, because it's like, obviously it's the festive season. Everyone wants to be festive. Like, I've got my Christmas jumper on today, for example. And I guess that's the issue. So they want to say, look, well, let's shut that down, because everyone is going to go out and get drunk and drink, and no one's working. School's off for 3 weeks. How are we going to do our best to allow people to have Christmas, but don't spray around at the northern beaches? The only thing that COVID does know is borders, which is actually weird. But COVID doesn't cross borders. If there's border controls up, if there's border blocks, it doesn't cross it.
COVID also hates the curfew. Doesn't do well after 10 p.m.
No.
But anyway, if it was last time we did a podcast, you had a Turkish kebab on your arm. What happened to that?
It's been downsized.
They've got the meat trimmer out.
It's been slightly downsized, but unfortunately, like I had this it's a psychological thing. So I've been looking at this kebab on my arm for 2 weeks, and then I went to the hospital on Wednesday and got it replaced, and they put this on, and immediately I was like, oh, that is so small, awesome! I've got a tiny cast on my arm now. And then I left the hospital at 9 o'clock at night, went to put my coat on, didn't fit over my arm again. So psychologically, I thought it was small, but in reality, it's not that small. And there's not a lot of not a lot of things I can squeeze over it, unfortunately. So lucky I got a swan dry. I've been running that bastard into the ground. So I got another month like this. I started exercising though. I've started boot camp, and so our team osteo, who's also a good friend of ours, he's running boot camp with me 5 days a week. He comes into town 9:30 in the morning. We're out the door doing all sorts of stuff. So I've done a couple of days now. I've done gym. I've done some running. Did a hike yesterday, 13K hike with him, and he made me wear a 10 kg backpack on my back, which made it more difficult. But yeah, we're
you sound like camp. You can put a camo jersey on and deliver some fresh towels at the rate you're
going. What's going on with your audio, George? I think it's a bit echoey now.
Oh, okay. I didn't bring. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Call the geek. We'll find out.
Yeah.
So you're going to make the season start, Fuels? Are you going to make it back for 2021 pro cycling, or for the start of it, or is it going to be sort of late? What's the outlook?
End of March, I'll start. That's the plan. 24th of March, I'll be on my first start line.
So you miss one. I would only have done one race, but so you're only missing a race basically for a lot of the peloton.
Yeah, well, the season's starting for us at the end of Jan. That's the plan. End of January's first racing for our team in Mallorca. Then you got you got your Spanish races, Tour Valencia, Ruta del Sud, whatever it's called. Was it called Ruta del Sud or something?
Ruta del Sol.
Ruta del Sol.
Oh, there's Ruta del Sud and Ruta del Sol, which is confusing because I think they're on the same weekend.
Ruta del Sud's in France and Ruta del Sol's in Spain. No.
Yeah. One's awesome, one sucks.
Yeah. So I won't be at any of those. Yeah, so I'll be back in the March, first race, but I've got a plan in place until that point. So yeah, we'll get amongst it. It'll be good, I reckon.
I've got an injury to report as well, fellas.
What's happened?
I've ripped my left tit. Like I've done a muscle under my left tit. I thought I was having a heart attack the other day, but I've done it at basketball on Wednesday night. There was a bit of an incident, bit of a fracas. Bit of a fracas. So I play with these young blokes, and we're called the Christmas Day Angels. You know, we wear a Christmas kit, and we just take the piss. But they're not a bad side, but they're all in their early 20s, very intellectual guys. They're sort of doing uni, and it was through like an old workmate, and I'm probably 20 years older than everyone. So I sort of struggle to get up and down the court. Anyway, but I'm Mr. Buckets, man. You kick it to me with an open three, I'll get the job done. And this game, it was my first game back, so I was a bit ginger, and I was double dribbling and just all over the shop. And this bloody smartass, this young prick who would have been about 20, he had this orange man bun. He goes to me under his breath. He goes, nice double dribble, old man. I looked at him and go, fuck do you say? Don't worry about the swearing. I never swear for this. And he goes, you heard me. Nice double dribble, old man. I said, you fucking smart-ass little prick. You're there with a ginger man bun and you're trapping off. And then this little ass ferret come up to me. He would have been about 4 foot. He looked like a little baby Jesus. He goes, you forgot to mention Annie's fat. And I looked at him, and I looked down. I'm like, fuck are you trapping off for? What are you going to do, mate? I go, I shit bigger than you. And then
that's good, though. You forgot to mention that he's fat.
Forgot to mention, and he's fat. So anyway, the fucking man bun ginger nuts is giving it to me, like right in me grill. And I said, okay, let's sort this out. Drive it to the hole next time, chutney crutch. And so he was shitting himself for the second half, and I kept baiting him. I'm going, go on, chutney, drive it. And he wouldn't do it. There's 30 seconds left in the game. And old Chut's got some confidence. Went to go to the hole. And I thought, fuck this, I'm taking him out. So I've gone up and gone a hip and shoulder, but it sort of got my arm hooked on my teammate. I've skittled him, but I've ripped my left tit in the process. And Chut's has gone down like a bagger.
What happened to the midget that called you fat?
Oh, the midget. He was no good. He was just in the background, but he like a little soft cock. And so anyway, old Chutz has hit the deck pretty hard, and he got up. He's like, oh. And the ref called a double tech, and then they were sort of talking about if they're going to take it further. Like I could potentially be missing weeks for this incident because it was a blatant foul. And then all my teammates were looking at me going, "Oh Jesus, what happened there?" And I go, "Oh, he fucking called me old." They go, "Oh, okay."
Seems like you've taken it to heart. Like it's an issue for you.
Yeah, seems like you took that a bit too far, Jonesy. And then I, like a bit, wasn't waiting around, just got my car left.
You've been removed from the team WhatsApp group, or you're still over there next week?
I was sort of making jokes about it, and normally I get those, when you get on a group and you do a joke, you're looking for that smiley face, and you want at least 2 or 3 in a group of 7. I think I got 1 thumbs up. That was sort of
you hung it out there, and everyone else
hung it out there. Went. So I might need to go to some sort of.
That's quite patronising too.
Yeah, I might need to go to some sort of white line fever therapy. How to deal with those situations better. I should have just gone, yeah, I am old. Who cares? Move on. Instead, I've gone hard.
No, I don't think you should have. I think you responded pretty well in that situation. That's how I think you should have handled it.
Yeah,
do you find younger people have just got no respect? Like, am I getting old? Am I getting in that old?
You are, because I was. That's what people used to say to me when I was young. That young people, it's just an ever forming. It'll always be it'll repeat. It's a cycle that will repeat for the rest of until an asteroid takes us all out. We're gonna just, you get to a point and then you go, oh, I should be respected, but I'm not. Why am I not respected? And it's because, well, why should they respect us? What have we done? Up and coming, they've got the world, they've got everything to put, like the ball's in their court. They can't, like. You just gotta go. I'm like we talked on last week. Once you're 30, it's over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think all you can do is be bitter. I think all you can do is be bitter and try and score some fouls on the basketball court when you can.
Well, karma's got me because I'm telling you, man, this left hit is throbbing. Like, you don't realize that muscle how often you use it. Like it's real. It's deep. It's
especially 2 weeks in
the
an isolation hotel with an iPad. I imagine it gets a good workout.
That's right. So what's the other thing we're going to talk about? Christmas, Jules.
Well, this is supposed to be the Christmas special. Should we talk about Christmas?
Yeah.
Hey, I did some research. I did some research on the legend of Santa Claus, like where it was all born.
Hey, speaking of what, did you watch my Santa story that I sent you? Or did no one watch that?
I did. I watched the first bit. It was hilarious.
Yeah, okay.
He makes a great point.
I was just a bit taken aback by the fact that you contributed to the WhatsApp group. I was like, hang on, George has sent a bit of research through for the show. I can't watch this.
He must be bored. He must
throw the whole world off its axis.
Yeah.
Bad things are going to start happening.
Yeah.
But the theme of that video, George, he was talking about Joseph, wasn't he?
He was talking about basically what he was saying is what a strong-minded man Joseph must have been. I mean, how unwavering his faith was. He gets home and his wife Mary comes to him and says, "Joe, I'm pregnant," and he goes, "Well, we've never had sex, Mary." And she goes, "Look, I know this is going to sound weird, but God put this baby in me."
Right, yeah.
And for Joe then not to go, for him to then go, good on him. It's good. That's unwavering faith, and that's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle.
It is.
And what I found out about Christmas, of course, why is it called Christmas? It's the mass of Christ.
That's right.
So did Mary? Did she do like a 9-month pregnancy?
You don't know if she did full term. You have to ask Abraham. Abraham was around. He was pissing around.
No, it was.
I feel like he had something to do with it.
It was
he had
a
lot of
season.
interest.
It was a season with the 3 wise men. They had all the.
They had a lot of interest too. Those three. They came to check it out and see who Jesus looked like most out of the 3 of them. He's gone. Oh, which one of us?
What was their story? The 3 wise men. They just sniffing around. Were they family friends from way back? Like, how did they come on?
They were just a bearer of gifts, weren't they?
Basically. No, they were. I think they were Joe's mates. That Joseph's mates that used to pop around when Joe was at work at the building site with the other carpenters, and they came to check out which one.
It's a bit
there's something going on there.
It's a bit sus when she's saying that.
Maybe,
and there's maybe wise men sniffing around for these gifts. Like, why? Hey, babe, why the fuck are you giving them gifts? What's going on here? It's too much coming in.
Yeah, when the 3 wise men found out that Mary was pregnant, they've all gone, "Oh shit, it's probably mine."
Yeah,
I better take something around to her, and then all of a sudden they're like, "What are you doing here? What are you?" And then Joe's going, "What's going on?"
No amount of flowers are going to make up for this shit. We need to get some gold. We need to get some incense. We need to really dial this shit up to mask this mistake.
Sorry, but anyway, you were doing some research on Christmas. Tell me about your research. What were you doing?
Well, Saint Nick was originated by a monk back in the early days, and he sounds like a really top bloke. And one of the best things he did, he like gave all of his inherited wealth. And one of the stories is he saved 3 poor sisters from being sold into slavery or prostitution by their father. They don't really, when they talk about Santa's origins, they don't go, the best thing he did in the early days was save 3 women from becoming prostitutes.
No, they don't. They focus more on
focus on the reindeer and the Santa's workshop.
Hey, Dad, who's Santa Claus, Dad? Well, good question. What Santa Claus is he's this awesome dude who flies around the world in 24 hours and delivers all these presents to little kids, and he saved 3 prostitutes.
Saved 3 women from becoming prostitutes. Never forget that. He doesn't just deliver gifts. He saves.
I've got another gripe with Christmas. The Christmas fable is they've just plucked the date for JC's birthday and said, "Oh, we reckon he was born on the 21st." All they've done is early days. It was just a pagan ritual. I think it was for the winter solstice. Like the shortest day of the year or whatever. And they've just gone, "Oh, well, look, the German, these Germanic tribes and these Scandos they're already having a party anyway. What do you reckon we sort of shoehorn in, we Trojan horse in this birthday party, and then then it took off from there. So that I just feel like we're not celebrating the exact day, and
it's like the Queen.
It is exactly like the Queen.
My sister's birthday is on Christmas Day, so that sucks for her because
how many times
double present.
Have you got it? Yeah, do you get her a double one, or do you just?
I don't now. I've morphed out of becoming an arsehole. But in the early days when I was still sort of ginger man bun style, I'd hand her like a voucher and I go put a bit of extra. It's your birthday. That didn't float.
I got a mate whose birthday is Christmas Day as well. I always struggle to think like what to send him when I message him. So it's just sort of morphed into Merry Birthday, because like do I say Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or
Merry Birthday and a Happy Birthday and have a Happy Christmas? Yeah, have a Merry Birthday and have a Happy Christmas, and then he'll get the gist of it.
There's a little bit of je ne sais quoi to that message.
Yeah,
there's 2 dates that are bad for birthdays. There's Christmas Day and my mate B-Roll. His birthday September 11.
Yeah,
and so,
but that was all right for most of his life.
I know. But nowadays, when people go, "What's your birthday?" and go September 11, everyone's first reaction is like he had something to do with it.
Yeah, you asshole.
Yeah, but when Billy, when was the first time you found out about? I better keep it down because there's kids in the background. When Santa wasn't real.
Is he not? Now, right now.
Surely you remember the date. You remember the date when you found out.
I never found out officially. I think I just grew into the fact that he's not real, and I just was like, it makes sense, I suppose.
Really?
Really?
Well, because when I was thinking about it the other day when you said that, like, let's talk about when you first got told Santa didn't exist. And I honestly can't remember my parents or anyone ever telling me he didn't exist. Like, it's like that story I told when my mum told me don't give dogs bread because they get eczema. I believed that until about 6 months ago. And I just kind of learnt that Santa wasn't real. But I remember I started to get a bit like suspicious about it when the old man was telling me on Christmas Eve when we were putting up the biscuits and the milk for the reindeer. Dad started telling me, nah, Santa doesn't really like milk. Put a beer out, you know? So I was putting out biscuits and a bottle of beer. So I was thinking, fuck, Santa's flying around the world pissed. I hope they haven't got any checkpoints.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that doesn't really make sense.
My dad being a biology teacher and, just very science driven, I think they, from day dot, never even told me the myth of Christmas. You know what I mean? They were straight away like, look, like as a 2-year-old, maybe, you're going to go to kindy, and there's other kids going to be talking about this Santa guy. He's not real. Okay, he doesn't exist. It's just not plausible. I mean, you think about it. You do the maths on that. There's 7 billion people, so we're talking, a couple of billion kids, and there's one slayer. I mean, pull your head out, mate. He's not real. And that was, they were just very. He was like, from a young age, he said, "I'm teaching this kid science." And I don't think I ever had the myth of I don't ever remember believing in him.
And then you go back to school after Christmas, and the kids be like, I got a bike from Santa. No, you fucking didn't. I got a pair of socks from Dad.
Mate, I remember the day. It was grade 1, and we were having just a chat. It was like mid-year, and Todd Gregory opened up the batting and told me that, Santa's your parents. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, it's your mum and dad. It's been your mum and dad the whole time. I was like, no. And I started like panicking. And I remember telling the teacher, is that true? It's like, and she said, Todd shouldn't have told you that. I go, yeah, but no, is it true? She goes, yeah, no, you have to talk to your parents, but yeah. And I remember I just lost it. I just was just a shell of a kid that day. I think I beat the shit out of Todd Gregory as well. Like, yeah, I took it out of him and ripped a tit muscle as a 10-year-old. And I remember coming home.
So this is a reoccurring injury.
Yeah. Mate, I when I think about it, I've got some behavioural issues. I remember being in grade prep and in the sand pit, and this grade 6 kid, I'd spent all Arvo building this sandcastle, right? Like had cars and took ages, and he come through and just stomped on it. I remember just like a little mini Incredible Hulk. And I remember just launching at him, digging my fangs into his leg, and like he was rolling around, bawling his eyes out. But I claimed the victory. He's like a pit fighter, like a grade 6. Like, I didn't give a shit. Whatever it took, you fucking ruined my castle, mate. Grade 6. A prep took down a grade 6 with his fangs of glory.
There's no better way. There's no better way to go into the festive season and to Christmas by talking about people that we just want to beat up, eh?
But I remember I had to come home and confront the olds. I was like, we need to talk, Is this true? And then Mum and Dad were like, well, we thought you knew. Like, well, no, I didn't. And then we had to sort of broker a deal. Well, you got to keep the presents. They've got to still come, And then that year was when Mum really took the piss and started putting in items that I just didn't want, but played that whole, no, it's practical. Let's get toothbrushes, sunscreen.
Oh, the Lynx Africa.
Yeah, jocks, all that shit you don't want as a kid. Just give me turtles, give me toys.
A lot of general parenting on Christmas.
Yeah.
General admin of being a parent, and that's always a stocking. There's a lot of other good things that if old Nick isn't real, there's also I never enjoyed that side of it, but I always enjoyed the rest of the vibe. You know what I mean? Like the Christmas music and the cat. I mean, I hate carolers. Carolers are the worst people in the world. I mean, I'm so happy that's not a thing in New Zealand. Actually, no one Christmas carols.
No, I grew up going to the carols. Carols by candlelight.
Oh, I hate you.
Always. Like,
no, I love it. I'm with Bules. Love it.
Oh, yuck.
And like,
What?
there are some absolute bangers out there, right? There's obviously like the Fairy Tale of New York, which is a Christmas song.
That's not a carol.
No, it's not a carol, but it's a Christmas song, which is obviously, top of the pecking order. But then you come down.
No, it's not. I've got a better song for you for Christmas in terms of number one Christmas songs. I mean, I've also got some shockers. Do you know, in terms of shockers, Bob Dylan, this is something I wish I knew last week when we did Bob Dylan for Legend Rebellion. Bob Dylan released an entire album of Christmas songs, and I had a listen through today, and it's one of the worst things I've ever come across in my life. It is the worst thing there is. It's sort of like a jazzy, poppy Bob Dylan who can't sing, screeches down a microphone about Christmas, and you get the vibe he hates Christmas.
We should close the show out with one of his songs because this obviously isn't live.
But as a Christmas song that I feel I can really relate to at the moment is you'll know Jonesy as well, and Bill's is Paul Kelly, How to Make Gravy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And it's written on the 21st of December. It's about a guy. If you don't know the song, it's one of the greatest Australian songs. And it's about a guy in prison for Christmas, and he's writing to his brother and about how he's going to be locked up in prison. And I really feel like Joe right now. I'm going to be locked up and managed isolation.
Dan, it's Joe here. I hope you're keeping well. It's the 21st of December.
And who's going to make gravy?
This is what I'm going to want to get to, though, is have you heard his recipe for gravy?
Yes, tomato sauce. A little bit of red wine. Don't forget a dollop of tomato sauce of sweetness and extra tang. Give my love to Rita.
Are you a
Thank you, Dolly. Tell them all I'm sorry. The Fairy Tale of New York. I was talking to a mate yesterday who's from the UK, and they were saying that it's banned. Fairy Tale of New York's now banned on all radios in the UK. Like, think about because of the word F.
Yeah. So here's
G-G-O-P.
I remember in 2001, I was 11 years old, right? And we had the school end of year concert, and my mum was the music teacher, and I was in the rock band, it was called. And we did for our song, we did Fairy Tale of New York, and here we were as 11-year-olds blasting out, "You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap, lousy faggot," screaming that out as 11-year-olds, not knowing what was going on. And the parents are looking at us like, and I was on the guitar playing along. I'll probably dig up a video of it. And now it's obviously been banned all around. But I mean, this is a classic example of cancelling something years out of context, isn't it?
It's a pretty interesting story behind that song, because obviously the Pogues were a rock band, or like a what's that genre? But yeah, they were just
punk rock.
And I think it was Frank Sinatra? I think it was Frank Sinatra said to the singer, what's his name? You know his name, George? The lead singer from the Pogues?
Well, it wouldn't have been Frank Sinatra. You've got your
yeah.
I think it might have been Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie? It definitely wasn't Guy Ritchie. It was one of those, like someone like that, and they said, "Look, mate, you can't. You've got no chance to write a Christmas song. I bet you could never write a Christmas song." And he came back 24 hours later with the Fairy Tale of New York, and he said, "There you go. Really? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it."
Well, do you find a lot of artists they just try and cash in on this shit? Like Mariah Carey, it's just a blank check every year. Like if you write a Christmas belter, that's it. You're set up for life. Like it's your superannuation. Like you've got to tap into that shit, and you got to do it early because she cemented herself in the 90s, whereas now it's just saturation of this shit.
But going on the chat of songs, carols. Going back to carols, so let's drop it down a number of pegs from Fairy Tale of New York and How to Make Gravy.
Elvis Costello.
Was the guy. Was Elvis? It was actually Elvis Costello. That's right. But the best carol for sure, it's got to be Snoopy's Christmas for me.
Snoopy's Christmas.
Snoopy's Christmas, and it's written about the war. It's a great song. When the Red Baron was dead in the night, Snoopy yelled out, "It's Merry Christmas, my friends!" And it's written about the war.
I think I've never heard that song.
Snoopy's Christmas. So it was written for World War II when they all stopped on Christmas Day, and basically, it's the theme of the song is like they're fighting. There's a Red Baron, which is the plane, I think, in the skies having a dogfight, and they go, and then Snoopy, who was the pilot and also a dog, said,
"This is based on the cartoon Snoopy."
No, it's not. It's not. It's based on the war. And
I thought you were talking about the cartoon. Yeah.
No, Snoopy's Christmas. So it's based on the war, and it's all themed around, guys. It's the 25th of December. I know we're at war. We're at lockerheads. Let's shut it down for a day and let's have a glass of mulled wine, bit of ham,
and let's make some gravy
and stop fighting. They stopped fighting. That's why they stopped fighting on Christmas Day. Because of this, not because of the song, but that was the theme
quick
of the song.
Update: Australia just won by 8 wickets. So
yeah, I saw India all out for 36.
Bullshit. Mate,
they were 6 for 15, and I was just going. And I watched the whole test because there was nothing else to do. And this morning they were real trippy, because they bowled Aussie out pretty for like, what was it, 236 or something, and they were all like tailwind. They came out and lost 6 wickets for 15 runs.
That's unbelievable.
They were all out for 36, eh?
Yeah. Is that their lowest ever score? Have to be.
It's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Mate, you would think they were playing on a bloody, I don't know what it was, like a minefield, but nothing. We're just swinging around a bit. And... Anyway, sorry, that was a real sidetrack.
Right, a Legend of Bellend. And I guess everybody who's listening to the show is probably going to pick our Legend of Bellenders today. And our Legend of Bellend is Santa Claus. Is he a Legend of Bellend? We're going to look at him. And I tend to believe that he's a bit of a bellend because, today, 2020 is going to be a real litmus test for Santa. He's got a massive social responsibility to not deliver any presents this year because there's massive travel restrictions, there's managed quarantine, managed isolation, all these things. You can't travel the world. Santa's going to go to every single household in the world. If he's a super carrier, if he's asymptomatic, but he has the virus, he's going to blow the fucking pandemic out of the water. So he's got a real social responsibility to stay home this year.
You're missing an important stat here, Sam. Who's going to save the prostitutes?
Do you think the amount of prostitutes that he'll save, do you think that on balance will outdo the good of saving all the prostitutes will outdo the bad of killing off or of spreading?
Well, not socially distancing. He's a super spreader. That's what you're saying.
He's a super
spreader. Yeah, that's right.
He has the ability to be a super spreader. That's right. Obviously, if he's got COVID on Christmas Eve, he's real crook. Real crook. So he's not traveling. Yeah. He can't go to work that day. He's got to take one of those rostered days off. But if he is carrying the virus, but he's asymptomatic, he's going to feel like, I haven't got it. I'm fine. I don't know if he's doing PCR tests up in the North Pole. Is Mrs. Claus chucking a swab up his nose to make sure he's safe? I don't think so. And so he's traveling potentially as a super spreader.
You know, the other funny thing I was just thinking of is when you used to get presents when you did believe in Santa when you were real young. And if it was a present that was shit, you'd tee off. Yeah, I didn't want this Santa. This is shit. And your mum's sitting there going, but you're thinking, anyway, carry on.
I've got another gripe with Santa Claus. Is he racist? Because he does. He's been accused in Holland a lot of doing blackface.
Oh, that's not Santa Claus though.
That's in Holland.
That's what I mean.
But that's not Santa Claus. That's Pete.
That's Zwarte Pete.
That's Zwarte Pete, and he's a helper of Santa.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's got the blackface. He's not racist. He's got the blackface from the soot coming down the chimney.
Yeah, but it's 2020, so.
I think they need to kill him off.
I think he's been discontinued.
Yeah, he needs to go.
Yeah.
Also, Coca-Cola invented the image of Santa Claus. So I don't know what the real when Saint Nick was created. I don't know what he looked like.
No, he had a big pimp jacket.
You got to get off the prostitutes, Jonesy.
Okay, sorry. I'm thinking of Kramer on Seinfeld. You know, he's walking down the street like
eating the bologna sandwich
with the cane. Hey, baby, I'm giving away all my shit.
Like Coca-Cola created the image that we all know and love of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Really?
So that's how it started.
Well, they did a good job. It's always a safe bet when you mix white, red, and black. You know, they're good colors. Like it. Yeah.
Where's the black?
The black's a belt.
And the boot would have sold as well if it was that kid from your basketball game, a ginger with a man bun. Do you think that people would have caught on as well?
No.
What is okay? So going back to Legend of Bellend, what is Santa's obviously doing his bit from the 24th to the 25th of December, but what's he doing for the rest of the year? He's not building those toys. The elves are doing that. They're down in the bottom. What is he doing? Sitting up in his ivory tower drinking eggnog for 364 days a year.
You know another thing that Santa, he projects a really bad image because he is fat and he doesn't look after himself. He's got pink cheeks. He drinks a lot of piss. You know, he's not a poster of like longevity. I mean, you adopt Santa's routine, you're not going to live a long life. Let's be honest.
I think we need to get more behind these meditating Barbie dolls than we do behind Santa.
If he delivers any of those, he's definitely a Bellion.
Look, he's not stacking up well for me, so I'm going to open the betting with a Bellion.
Well, just on another random topic, how the hell did the carol get past I Saw Mummy Kissing Santa Claus? The fuck's with that?
Yeah.
That's not a good song.
That'd rock your boat on Christmas Day.
Kids like, I saw Mummy kissing Santa Claus.
Yeah, but it's because Santa Claus is dad. So Mum was kissing dad.
Oh, not that he's not just a racist super spreader.
So it's actually
sex pest. He is just dad.
He's just dad, and that was a subliminal. It was a subliminal message to all kids. That song's a subliminal message to all kids that Santa is dad.
I think what it is I always knew that it was a ruse, that he was like, oh, I do this for the kids. No, he does it for the mums.
Yeah.
He's doing it for the mums. He's not coming around
at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
No questions asked. It's Christmas. Anything goes at Christmas.
Yeah.
I've just I'm up.
There was obviously a bit of mistletoe there, though, so he had no choice. So if you're under mistletoe, you've got to kiss who's ever there. Turns out it was Mum.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bellion. Absolute Bellion.
Well, I'll go Legend. Good on him.
Right.
Good on him. Yeah, crack.
Well, are we going to wrap up? We're going to wrap up the year because we're going to have Christmas and New Year's, and the last thing we're going to do is probably do a podcast for this year at least. Will we? I don't even know what day it is. 20.
Let's not plan too far ahead, boys. Let's just see how we go.
Yeah.
If Christmas is a shocker and we've got sweet FA to do, might fire one up. But if we're,
I've actually landed. We haven't had a guest on for a while, but I've actually landed a couple of good guests. And one of them was going to come on today's show, but I messaged him last night and said, "Look, mate, we're doing a Christmas special. Probably not your sort of thing. So we'll get you on for the next step." So we've actually got a couple of guests lined up for the next 2 shows.
Who was it? The Grinch.
Mr. Grinch.
So let's wrap up. We'll finish the show with our year. I was a big advocate for doing 4 BC, which is when I believe Jesus was born, roughly. But when I googled 4 BC last night, there was fucking not a lot going on. There's not a lot going on.
You think Jesus died when he was 4? I mean, baby, what?
No, he was 33.
Then why do you think he died 4 BC?
Where'd you pluck 4?
No, because I think it goes...
4 BC is when he died. So you think he died? He was born 4 years before that as a 4-year-old.
No, because it goes the other way, doesn't it?
No, but didn't the year start at 25th of December 0?
Yeah, but that was when he died.
I thought it was when he was born.
BC
no, year 0 is when he died.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of controversy around when he was born. There's not a lot of people alive at the moment who were alive when he was born. But Google told me roughly 4 BC.
What? That makes zero sense because that means he was 4 when he died.
Or was he born on a leap year?
He's 28.
he was, and even BC, because it's BC. I don't think BC actually means before Christ.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. No, I don't think it does.
It's
something else.
Latin, something. But
calendars were weird.
Easy way to remember. The easy way to remember is BC is before he was dead, and then AD was after he died, after death.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if BC is before Christ and he was born on 4 BC, then he was born before he existed. Makes no sense.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. What are we talking about?
Just add to the fable, I suppose.
Yep. So we're chucking in a year. You want us to wrap up 4 BC? Is that
no, there's nothing to wrap up, right? Look, Google it. There's nothing going on. Let's wrap up 2020.
Ooh.
I googled it. I googled events of 2020, and boys, strap yourselves in. She was a fucking, as we know, she was a rough one. She started with the Australian bushfires. Then it went in. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle quit the royal family. Then Kobe Bryant died. Then Harvey Weinstein went to jail. That's probably okay. We can all accept that. Stock market crash, which has since recovered. That's all right. Black Lives Matter protests. The Beirut explosion. Eddie Van Halen's death. She was a rough one. Absolute shocker. And then obviously COVID.
Yeah, no movies come out for ages, and the ones that did is shit.
The Gentleman, that was good. That was my movie of the year. Gentleman. We had this discussion last night. The movie of the year was The Gentleman for me because A, it was basically the only movie that fucking came out, and B, it was actually pretty good.
2 series for me: Last Dance, Tiger King. They've got to be up there.
Oh yeah.
They're belters.
Do you know what got me through this year in a big way was the internet? Because I remember, especially in every decade with a microphone started a podcast, didn't he? But the early on,
is that why you don't have one?
Yeah, that's why I left mine. But early on, when it was so bad and we were stuck inside like March or April, and it was kind of a novelty though, and everyone was real creative before people had kind of died inside. And the internet, it was banging out goodness, and everyone was kind of making light of the situation, haha, this is pretty funny, and probably lock inside for 2 weeks. Little did they know, 5 months later, you still can't, get a coffee or something. No one knew I think if everyone knew what was coming, no one would have been quite as jovial in those first few weeks of lockdown, and but it was a very entertaining time to have an Instagram account, I thought.
There was a certain novelty to it, wasn't there? That wore off real quick. But I'll tell you what 2020 delivered us with was I've been in charge of the music on this show, and we've done some absolute shockers. We've had some years where there's just the music is just like, what a shit year for music. What a shit year for music. Listen to this, fucking 2020. If you can tell me if you know one of these songs, you win the podcast. Number 10, Dua Lipa, Break My Heart. What the fuck is that? Number 9, Da Baby feat Roddy Ricch, Rockstar. The fuck is that?
Sounds like a porn
Roddy
star.
Ricch around. Roddy Ricch around.
Listen to this one. Number 8, 24K Golden feat Ian Doyle, Mood. Number 7, BTS, Dynamite.
Sounds like a bloody STD.
Number 6, Doja Cat, Say So. Number 5, Cardi B feat Megan Cardi B feat Megan Thee Stallion, WAP. That's number 5.
Yeah, you know what that stands for.
Now we get into the real good stuff. Number 4, Harry Styles, Adore You. Number 3, Megan Thee Stallion feat Beyonce, Savage. Number 2, The Weeknd, Blinding Lights. Number 1, Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, Rain on Me. What an absolute piss poor year for music.
No, I'm just going to live on the old shuffles from Spotify, 90s pub anthems, and I've given up on future. I'm just looking backwards with tunes. I'm done. I've got enough of the portfolio.
Yeah, 6 days is all about Pogues and how to make gravy, isn't it?
Snoopy's Christmas. Yeah. I'd go as far to say is that there's potentially from 2020 onwards in terms of music, there may not be a single song made again that I'll save to my playlist.
There will be. There'll be, there'll be someone will do something good at some stage. You know what I mean? It'll come back around. Everything comes around, doesn't it? You at some stage it'll be cool to listen to Bob Seger again. You'll get these 8-year-olds.
Where has this positive vibe George come from?
No, he just needed to be isolated and locked down and taken away. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Oyster Bay.
There it is. That old chestnut, the Oyster Bay. Hey, if anyone from Oyster Bay is listening, I don't mind your white. So if you want to sponsor the podcast, just pay us in piss. Oyster Bay is a great drop.
It's a good wine.
Yeah.
It's not a bad wine. Righto, boys.
All right, boys.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
As everyone who's listening to the show, what you can do for us for Christmas is subscribe to our website, thesocialdistpod.com, www.socialdistpod.com.
We promised we are going to have merch ready for Christmas.
I was hoping you weren't going to bring that up.
But what we thought is we'll have a Boxing Day sale to launch the merch.
Next Boxing Day.
We thought we'll launch it at Boxing Day. When everyone's just buying shit anyway. There's enough going on with Christmas leading up. We don't want to, exploit our listeners. It'd be exploitation if we release merch, just before Christmas. Like, the guys are trying to grab, money
and
grab.
The beauty about Boxing Day sales is that there's never been merch available, so no one knows what we're going to charge. So we can hike the prices and say it's discounted.
Exactly. Yeah. We can make out that we're some sort of exclusive brand, that our t-shirts are $250, but for Boxing Day, we're going to launch them at 85% off, $35.
Yeah. Oh, a bit more than that, probably.
No?
No idea. I don't know.
Should we have an off-air marketing strategy, maybe?
Yeah. Sounds good.
But we nearly had it. The merch. We were bees dick away. Jones and I were up working away.
And we created our own thongs, our own jandals.
We've done it. We've got the merch up, and then some fucking weird thing with a file and had some purple in the thing. I don't know what happened. We don't know. We need expertise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were so close.
We were so close.
Oh, bugger.
We had jandals, we had hoodies, we had hats, we had bloody
laptop cases.
Yep, everything.
T-shirts.
These are all things I need. We
had a mug. We had a beer glass.
And
then the last minute, we stumbled at the last minute.
Foiled by a pixel of purple. Okay.
But we're
overcome. Sounds like we didn't try that hard.
We're getting ever closer. So remember to subscribe to our website and all that stuff, and have a Merry Christmas. Or
Merry Christmas, guys. George, what song are we going to be taken out by tonight for the Christmas special?
You were going to go with Bob Dylan, and might go the fortunately I've forgotten. Here we go. Christmas album. Let's go out with Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That sounds very condescending, and that's from Bob Dylan.
Why does it have to be small?
I don't know, because he's condescending. Then you can listen to him belch down the radio at you about.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your troubles.
Can we play that over?
Okay, we'll play that over it. Merry Christmas, guys. See you
mate.
soon.
Love you.
Right.